コインテレグラフへようこそ。この動画では皆さん大好きイーサリアムのスケーリングソリューション、この中でもすごく有名なポリゴンのプラットフォームの VP を担当しているアージュンさんにインタビューをすることができました。この動画ではイーサリアム 2.0 が来たら速くなるのでポリゴンっていらなくなるのとか、結構ね直球で今後のポリゴンの中長期の展望をね聞いてきたので、ぜひ皆さん楽しみに来てください。ちなみにポリゴンとは何ぞやとか、どういうビジョンを持ってどういう風に成り立ったものかとか、まず今後のロードマップ、そういったところに関してはコインクラブのチャンネルで前半を出しているので、ぜひそちらも見てからこちらに見ていただけると分かりやすいかなと思います。あとはコインクラブのメンバーシップではこのアージュンさんがお気に入りのオルトコインの話も深掘って聞いてみたので、興味があればぜひ見てみてください。それでは Enjoy! Welcome to Cointelegraph Japan. Alright, so we have amazing guests, as I mentioned previously. We have Arjun from Polygon. So today we're gonna learn a lot about Polygon, especially like Ethereum 2.0 impact, London hard fork impact. What is the relationship between all this like a crazy partner that you have? So we want to get into all those like details. So let me ask you first this, because this is the biggest question. Mm-hmm. What's your view on impact on the impact by London hard fork and Ethereum 2.0? Mm-hmm. Because some people think if Ethereum becomes faster and cheaper, what's the point of Polygon? So how would you answer to that?
Sure, definitely. So I think so this is again I get asked this question a lot, so I
would imagine.
Right. No, definitely. So we're very excited for the London hard fork and also for ETH 2.0, right? Because it sort of represents like a natural, you could say, sort of progression of the Ethereum ecosystem, and we see ourselves as sort of a natural extension of the Ethereum ecosystem ourselves. So it's great to see the ecosystem evolve, new features come out and it become better and faster. So that's great for everybody. Now coming back to how it affects us. So in terms of London hard fork, so we've been sort of looking into that as well, and as sort of Ethereum goes into the proof of stake. Way of functioning, and then there's also EIP 1559, which is going to happen. So Ethereum will become possibly like maybe a little faster and maybe less expensive, but it's basically the same rationale as ETH 2.0, right? So ETH 2.0 will become even faster and less expensive. But however, like if I were to put things in terms of numbers, like let's talk about ETH 2.0 in fact, and what Vitalik talked about, that ETH 2.0 would be capable of 100,000 transactions per second, like 100,000 TPS. Now, if you have hundreds rather of thousands, or if not tens of millions of people using blockchain technology on a daily basis, each doing thousands of transactions a day, right? And if you want to imagine, like, what do you mean thousands of transactions? Like, imagine the number of times you tap your phone. Like, every time you tap your phone or you use an app, it's basically like a transaction, right? And this is not counting like auto compounding and the stuff which happens already. So each user doing like maybe thousands, if not maybe tens of thousands of transactions on a daily basis, like even at 100,000 transactions per second, you will still not be able to cover it, right? So when you got to understand, what is the end goal here? The end goal is to have millions of people using this technology. Just like there are millions of people using Android, millions of people using iOS. Like that is where, you need to be as a blockchain ecosystem.
Yeah.
Working backwards from there, and, people doing again thousands of transactions, like, even ETH 2.0 will not be able to accommodate that kind of demand, which is why there will always be like a scalability layer on top of it, of Ethereum, right? And I think another way of sort of looking at, or another way of thinking about this is like you have internet, right? But you also have things like content delivery networks, which aim to optimize internet speed, right? So it's something like that. So even the internet, even if it's very fast, requires scalability, like a scalability solution, and like content delivery networks like Akamai, etc. Solve that. So it's something like that, and that's why we feel that a layer 2 scalability will always exist and it will bring that extra, you could say, firepower or scalability which you need, once you start going into hundreds of millions of users possibly, right? Using this technology concurrently at the same time, and transactions ramping up. Like you can imagine, like highly immersive video games, like you're playing something like Call of Duty or something like Assassin's Creed. There's so many transactions happening at the same time. Like video games like Free Fire have hundreds and thousands of microtransactions happening at the same time. Like that kind of scalability, you will always need a scalability solution. Even at peak ETH 2.0, you still will not be able to solve for it. So which is why, like the way we see it, if the base layer becomes faster, then we become even faster. Right? So it's great for us, So when people ask me, oh, ETH 2.1, like, I'm very excited for that because, if ETH itself becomes very fast, then it will help us be faster as well. And then we will be able to provide better sort of ecosystem and better like sort of services to our users. So it's good for us. So yeah, so that's my, thought process on that.
That's really interesting. I never really thought about that, but like, yeah, if everything that we interact with becomes blockchain, then we are talking about like thousands of, probably millions of transactions per person per day, probably. Right. So, okay, then that kind of got me thinking. So what, some people ask me like, the future of Polygon. Are you guys just trying, always trying to be for like a midterm and long term? Are you guys always trying to be a second layer kind of scalable solution? Or are you maybe at some point becomes like a, I don't know, like Ethereum competitors or like, have a main, I don't know, blockchain or?
So, I mean, very long term also, I don't see that happening. Like even if I were to look, like so blockchain timelines are very different from normal timelines. So like 1 month in blockchain is almost like 6 months everywhere else. Like,
true.
In terms of the sheer innovation, I can promise you, I'm living that life, and I cannot tell you how much hair I've lost, like, ever since I started doing this. But even if I were to look, let's say short, medium, and very long term.
Yeah.
So in the short and the like I would say medium term, of course, like, our focus is to be, the scalability layer and continue to scale Ethereum. But even very long term, right, I expect us to do exactly this, right? So it's like, just like I was giving you that content delivery example, right? Content delivery networks cannot become internet. Right. Like it's an addendum to internet. Like, like for example, anything like which boosts your internet speed is an addendum to the internet network. It's not like it doesn't become internet. So similarly, like, we aim to like always be a part of the Ethereum ecosystem. And like I said, right, it's not like for us, it's not a business decision. It's the philosophy of Ethereum, which what's really attracts us, right? This is why we want to do this. So that's how I see it. I don't like when we started initially, we did think for a time that, back in 2017, 18, when the company started, that, okay, maybe like, we should try to build like a layer which is like, which can sit on any blockchain, like, become like a universal scalability layer or something. But like I told you, right, when we thought really deeply about what goals did we have for the company and what we wanted to achieve as a team, right? Like it was clear that we wanted to sort of, build on Ethereum. So even short, medium or long term, I see us doing the same thing and sort of bringing like, taking sort of or inheriting rather some of the best aspects of Ethereum and then being able to provide that, scalability layer, which the world can use and, have fun with. And yeah.
Interesting. So right now it's really interesting where like, other smart contract platform is coming up, right? Like for example, Cardano's and like maybe Polkadot coming up. So then, there might be like developers and users moving to all those like a new ecosystem, right? Like naturally. So from your perspective, like maybe, are you potentially thinking about those like a scaling solution for those like a new smart contract platforms or no?
Not thinking about that at all. No. Because like so all of these. So again, all of these teams are great teams, by the way. Like, even Cardano and even Polkadot, like all of them have top tier tech teams, which is great. And all of us, like, when you look at Ethereum, Polkadot, or Solana, Cardano, whoever have you, all of us are trying to solve the same problem, which is we want to take blockchain. All of us are passionate about blockchain technology. We want to take it to the masses. Hence, we are doing this, right? And all of this effort and time and technology. So all of us are trying to solve the same problem. So we are united by that thought. However, like, when it comes to building an ecosystem, right, the technology is actually the easy part. You can build a blockchain. But building an ecosystem and making it decentralized, right, is exceptionally difficult. Like it's possibly the toughest problems you have to solve, because decentralization basically means you need to take everybody's view into account. Like everybody has the same power. You can't tell people what to do. Like this world doesn't work. Like, the Web3 world doesn't work like that. Like, so building consensus in this kind of ecosystem and growing that is I cannot tell you, like, very difficult. So that's why we feel that is going to be the real challenge for these blockchains. Like, people talk a lot about the technology, which is, this technology, that technology. Technology is still a small part of, has a smaller part to play in what this is really going to become. See, this technology has been built by humans for humans, right? Humans have to be a part of this, right? The ecosystem is the most important thing. It's not this technology. Like, so while it's important, obviously, to build something which is scalable and inexpensive, but you cannot forget the human aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like, built by humans for humans, which is why I feel that is the real challenge, which all of these blockchains, like, are beginning to face. And it's something which Ethereum has done really well, because like I told you, of the philosophy of how it operates. So that's like my view on this. So I wish them, of course, the best of luck. But like I told you, like, the problem statement, the real problem is that.
Very, very insightful. I realize, we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask a couple more questions, 2 more questions. Is that okay?
Sure.
One question is so you guys are, the Mark Cuban, the billionaire, is backing, Polygons and like super bullish about it. And then so many other people, right? Like, for example, like what is it, like a relationship like with like a Mark and all these like a powerful billionaire people?
Right. But I mean, I can't say I have a very direct relationship with them. The founders talk to them more regularly than I would. But what I would say is that one thing which really, really stood out about Mark Cuban was that we spoke to many investors. Like, there are a lot of people in this world who have money, frankly speaking.
Yeah.
Like, and who also want to invest and grow their wealth. But Mark, is himself an engineer. See, Mark is also a developer. He was a developer when he started. So when we spoke, right, it again, was not about economics or, token or whatever. None of that. Like, that was literally 5 minutes of the conversation. The entire time we spent with him was about technology. Like, and he came on the call and he told us about, I think these are the problems with roll-ups. And we were like completely zapped. Like, how does this guy know such, detail of that? I thought he was like a billionaire who owns a sports team, probably like chilling out. No, this guy is like, he's a developer, right? And that's when we realized, like, this guy is like us. Like, he thinks like a developer. He talked about those technical problems. He talked about the solutions to those problems, about how we need to do this. And that's kind of, how the conversation went. And we were completely taken aback, because we thought, okay, numbers, business, whatever.
Yeah.
None of that. Like, and he understands blockchain really well. And, how it accrues value, all of those kind of things. So this is when we decided that, like, there were a lot of people, I again, don't want to sound arrogant, and I am, not those kind of guys. We're all from very humble backgrounds, right? But we spoke to, like, a lot of people have money, but the very rare people have, like, money and this kind of insight and thinking, and the same kind of humility. Like, he never talks to you like a business person or something. He's always just like, he seems like, you can just call him up and only then you realize, okay, he's a billionaire. Like, so you can't just like, hey, like, you can't do that. So that's, like, I think something we found very special about him. From, like I told you, like, from a values perspective, like, Mark just spoke to us, and that's when we realized that he's the right guy for us.
Oh wow, that's a really interesting. I think that many people don't even see him as like a developer, right? So I think he's like a TV star, basically.
Yeah, he's a celebrity.
Celebrity. So yeah, I realized I just went over the time that we promised. So I apologize.
I apologize. I can talk about it for hours. So I think.
No, I know you are the one of the busiest person in the industry. So thanks so much. But I think to just as a closing remark, there's so many Japanese community who's watching this, especially from Cointelegraph side. Maybe could you give us some closing remark?
No, of course, like I said, I think blockchain, like I said, is something which is going to change the world, and not just because the technology is so amazing, because I think it will fundamentally change, will force us to change the way we think about things. Like, how for, like, as people and as human beings for generations, we've had, like, kings and rulers and our governments, and how we've evolved as people and our thought process. I really feel that this is in some ways a new, evolution for our thought process, but powered by technology, which we ourselves have created. So I think blockchain technology is super interesting, and for of course the Japanese community, like I said, it's very close to my heart. I'm fascinated by Japan. I can't wait to travel to Japan and then sort of interact with some of the community members there, and and then have some of the food as well. So a lot of things for me to look forward to. I think a lot of exciting announcements from Polygon as well for the Japanese community. So stay tuned. And yeah, I'd love to maybe chat again.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you're always welcome to this channel. And then yeah, let's keep this happening, and then we're looking forward to hearing from you. So
Sure thing. Thank you so much for having me, Yusuke, and really appreciate it. Thank you.
Likewise. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
All right.
Cointelegraph. Like, subscribe, and hodl.